Hello, here it's Lisa Stade of the YouTube channels of Lisa Stade and Hitler Obsessed here. I'm gonna start off with I think it's part 10 or part 11 on the review and the real history behind the movie from 2004 of Downfall, also called the Untergang. It's about the last days of Adolf Hitler. That's played by the leading role of Bruno Ganz as Adolf Hitler, that's told by the testimonies and memories of one of Hitler's secretaries and named Trudeau John and her friends and everyone in the fuel bunker. And civilians had fought in the Battle of Berlin as Berlin was just falling and crashing, and it was the end of the Soldreich and Hitler's death. Okay. So the next scene is with Hitler, Trudeau John, and some of his secretaries. And Hitler's having his last meal, which was, I guess, some vegetarian pasta there. I guess, with some vegetarian sauce and pasta. Because Hitler was a vegetarian. He had his little things he liked in meat, so he kind of, broke the rules. He didn't smoke, but he also kind of enjoyed some alcohol. Not too much, but he wasn't he wasn't a big smoker. He didn't smoke at all. He quit that in his life, and I think also definitely cut back on the alcohol. He definitely became a vegan after his niece Gelly Rubal's death. I know that for a fact from the history books and the stuff I've read about Hitler. Uh, but this is the last scene before Hitler's last meal, before he kills himself and says goodbye to everyone. And Trudeau Jung notices that Hitler's lost all his will to live, all that magnetic fire and charisma. It's just gone, snuffed out, like he's just a broken, shambled guy. He's just no different from me, you, and I. He's just a horribly flawed, most likely narcissistic, evil idiot anyway that believed in full evil ideology. But he probably was also a victim of it due to his abusive childhood, being that stuff would be connected and grabbed onto very quickly if you're an abused child. Uh, Now, if you're in the comment sections and you say that's not the case, that's true. You've just admitted there's a bell curve. Same thing with Hitler being more attracted to that, being homeless on the streets, was definitely a big influence, in my opinion, of his uh, situation to get involved with that stuff. And everybody thought of Hitler and the Third Reich as this wonderful, charismatic guy, but towards the end, his secretary, Trudeau John, realizes he's not what he's so-called supposedly is. He's just a flawed, evil, horrid, sad, pathetic little man. Uh, so Hitler says even goodbye to all his attendants and Magna Goebbels, who he also pins his gold NSDAP party badge onto her shirt. She has this on her body even when she kills herself, when Joseph Goebbels shoots her before shooting him after she's killed her kids. And he says goodbye even to Trudeau Jung, who ends up running off to see Goebbels' kids sitting, and they want to say goodbye to Hitler too. But they probably don't realize that when Hitler goes bye bye and goes dies, they're also going to go bye bye too because of their mother and their stupid father, Joseph and Magna Goebbels. Uh, and Trudeau Jones decides, what do you want me to do? Do you want something to eat? And they're like, yeah, okay, I'll make you a sandwich. So she goes down and makes him a sandwich. And the interesting thing about that golden party badge Hitler had made for him and everyone attached to the 1923 original fighters of the Nazi Party, the NSDAP, and that lived through the Putsch. That was something only for the original fighters of the movement. But he gives Magna Goebbels this, even though she turns up after the Putsch, and so does her husband in the actual history book. So So they're not original finals, but he bestows this thing that's like a very important award, I guess, in the Third Reich to this woman for her devotion and so-called loyalty to him, because he was all about loyalty and devotion to only him, especially within the SS and the Nazi Party, but definitely the SS. Uh, uh, which, yeah, she does have this on her body when she dies, but it does go up missing and no one knows where it went to. Same thing with even people wondering about where the Roman blood flag, which was the Nazi holy relic that was the flag carried in the barrel pooch that was saved and then dipped in the martyr's blood, supposedly. That's the theory. I don't know if that was really the case, if it was really dipped in the blood or just fell though. It could have fallen into, the police officer's blood too. That were shooting at them. So. I don't know. I hate to say, in a case like that, no, if it was a felon barrel pooch, I don't think the stories very hold up true. It could have been even the the blood of a dead dog or cat. So weird law of just even skepticism of their ideology. I mean, you should have a skepticism even with something like that. Of any of their ideology of Nazism is evil and horrid. Uh, Hitler then ends up walking off to his living quarters there, and they said he was Ava Braun, who's in his favorite dress that Hitler likes of Ava Braun. She has her nails done and her lipstick makeup done. And it looked pretty there, looked presentable to die with Hitler. And Ava Braun bites into a cyanide capsule, slumps over to Hitler's shoulder. But Hitler decides to bite into cyanide capsule and shoot himself. And eventually, in the movie, one of Goebbels' kids shouts "Bullseye." If that's really true, uh, but Gunji walks into the movie, and not the movie, the living quarters of Hitler, and comes out after he realizes that Hitler is dead, because Hitler tells Gunji, walk in after a certain amount of time to make sure I'm dead, then tell everyone. And Gunji tells everyone the Fuhrer is dead. So, a couple of Hitler's attendants carry Hitler's body and his wife's body, wrapped up in some military blankets to be laid in a bomb shell cradle that's been dug a bit larger to lay them down. And in the movie, you can actually see Hitler still alive because he's kind of. They realized that in the movie they didn't make the hole big enough for Bruno Downs, so he's having to fit himself in. So if you notice that little scene of Hitler wiggling, and you notice that no, in this scene the history is Hitler's supposed to be dead. Why is he moving? Bit of a weird gallows humor, like, yeah, you just burnt the guy alive. That's hard. It's not like the guy would have dissolved it, but they actually made the hole too small for cans to fit. But in the actual history and the scene, they dumped the Dallas gasoline on the bodies. They tried several times to light a piece of paper on fire before throwing it in, standing there with Goebbels and all of Hitler's inner circle, throwing the old Sieg Heil there. I can't do that here on YouTube because of, issues with that. Don't want to break any policies or guidelines. And so they do that to say the last farewell or salute there as military officials to the deceased Fuhrer and his wife, and they end up burying his dog's body and, cremating them also with the remains of Hitler and Eva Braun. And eventually, even Russian artillery lands near them, and they just run off and leave the guy to die. They end up having to try several times to try to burn him, and they could never succeed in burning him thoroughly. So they just gathered the remains and buried them in somewhere else in the fuel bunker. And the grounds of around the fuel bunker and another bombshell cradle there. Uh, and then the next scene is of General Krebs meeting with the Russian generals, telling them about Hitler's death and that they'll still keep fighting and they're wanting to do peace failures and but the Russians are like unconditional surrender and that's it. We don't give a care. Next scene is of later on of Mrs. Goebbels and one of the SS attendants or doctors making a cocktail of sedative to put Goebbels' kids to sleep, and she tells them, "Oh, that's medicine so that you won't get sick." And they all willingly take it, except one of Goebbels' kids who has to be forced to drink it. And she just walks off saying, "Good night, everyone," because she realizes what she just did, she's about to do, and runs off to go sit down and play some solitaire, at a table there by herself. Some solitaire. Which Goebbels just stands there, just like, meh, who cares? We have to do it for the fuel. She eventually does turn up again. Uh, to end up, putting in each of the kids' mouths there, the cyanide capsule that she shuts the door to break it as they're sleeping, and when they're pretty much once that's broken in each of her kids' mouths, she pulls a blanket over their head, exposing their feet and killing them. And then eventually in the movie, all the kids end up all just having their bodies put in a trunk and left somewhere to just die and rot. And Goebbels goes up with his uniform on of Magna Goebbels up above to Chancellor grounds to shoot his wife and then himself. And there's a couple of attendants there of the SS and guards there with more jerry cans to douse their bodies that are now dead and cremate them and just the worst, shoddy, terrible, manky way to cremate someone. I'm gonna end this video here and continue on with the next video here of I think part 11 or part 12. This is Lisa Stade here signing off and telling you to become a subscriber to the YouTube channels of Lisa Stade and Hitler Obsessed. Hit the notification bell, like all my videos, leave comments on all my videos for me. I would love to see a reply and good feedback there. Uh, donate to my Patreon and my subscribe stall. You can send me a friend request, a comment, a combination of a friend request and a comment. And you can visit my BitChute channel on bitchute.com of Lisa Marie Stay to see all my videos there too. And bye!